being stupid. I have been to a convention this last weekend. Trust me, I've seen the stupidity that is people.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't go to a convention and not expect stupidity of some sort.
No, well, there's good stupid and there's bad stupid.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily, you see the bad kind of stupid
Yeah.
in a convention setting.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, that might have been my last year for PAX. I don't.
Really?
I'm going back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to Utterly Geek. I'm Darren Bell. We've got Stephen Petrella and Chris Walzik. The full crew's back.
Yay!
Yes.
And
Not happy to be back. Well, happy to be back.
Wow. Well, fuck you, man.
No, I mean being back home.
Ah, okay.
Being back from vacation.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
God, I thought you were saying like, yeah, I'm not really that glad to be back. I was like, wow, go fuck yourself then, Jesus.
Well, I'm glad to be back on the podcast.
Okay, all right, that's way more reasonable now. Okay.
yeah.
I'm not that big of a dick. Come on.
But you were out on the West Coast. Did you find any time to play anything? What have you been up to?
No, I didn't play anything.
Didn't think so.
I mean,
what have you been up to?
So I went out to LA, saw At Midnight, which was it's pretty interesting to see like how one of those shows is filmed, because from watching it on TV you get the impression that it is all off the cuff improv.
Yeah.
And it is all written, so it's pretty interesting to see how they do that and how they make it into like a show that looks like everything. I mean, there are off the cuff moments, but for the most part, like you can see they're looking down at like an iPad that's feeding them jokes, so they can quickly snap them off one by one. But there are moments when they come up with their own idea and then they throw it out there too, and you could see that because then Chris Hardwick will play off of what they're doing. Which was pretty interesting because he's really off the cuff. Like what he's doing, like I mean, he reads the teleprompter, but then like the snappy jokes that he comes back with are all off the cuff. He's like,
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive to watch him work. Like he's super fast. I mean, it was an hour. I mean, they taped for an hour.
Who were the guests?
It was Steve G.
Steve Agee.
Agee, and then this Tyler guy, I forget his last name, but he's on some kind of television show that I've never heard of, and then the dude from Super Jaime.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Doug Benson or something.
Yes,
I think
Doug
his name
Benson.
is. Yeah. So
Yep.
those were the guys, because it was 420, so they got these dudes.
Oh,
who,
Jesus,
like,
yeah,
I mean, so
yeah.
Doug Benson did his little 420 shit, and Steve Agee was pretty into the whole 420 thing. So it was pretty. I mean, it was pretty funny, but it was like some of the jokes were, God, that's a little too 420 for me. It's like
okay.
kind of forced.
Yeah.
Up because it's 420. Hey, dude,
Leaning too
everyone's
hard into
smoking up, and but
Yeah.
like it was very interesting to see that. And then we went on a tour of Warner Brothers.
Ooh.
Got to see all the Batmobile.
Yes, I saw that in your Instagram, you bastard. Yes. Oh man, I'm fucking jealous.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome because I guess they just put the new Batmobile in there.
Yeah.
And that was like super fucking cool looking. Like that one is awesome.
Yeah.
They had all the other ones and a couple statues from the new movie too. They had the Batman statue in there, and the Superman statue was like out somewhere else, and it's fucking enormous. And I couldn't get any pictures, but we went on the set of Supergirl, because they don't allow you to take photography on the sets.
Yeah.
But that was pretty fucking cool. Like Supergirl is one of the only sets on TV that they actually build the ceiling as well. Like I guess they were saying almost every set they don't build a ceiling because nobody looks at it. But like in the caves and stuff of Supergirl, they built the set of the ceiling, which was pretty interesting. So we did that. What else did we do? Fucking hung out at the beach. That was nice.
Nice.
Let's see. Did something else.
You shaking your head, you pale bastard. You got no say in it.
That. The beach is
Yeah, for you.
The beach is that.
Yeah, I got pretty burnt. It was.
See?
It didn't feel good, but it was nice to be out there. You know?
They're just like, the sun is evil.
From New York to LA, you know, it's my East Coast white skin.
Yeah.
Didn't handle it too well.
Is that dry? Well, I guess it wouldn't really be dry heat. I mean, that'd be more where I'm at.
Yeah. It wasn't terrible though. Like it was. There were days where it was like, oh fuck, man, it's so hot, and then there were days where it's like, oh, this 80 degrees actually feels really good right now. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a mix in between. Oh yeah, we went hiking. We went up to the Hollywood sign and did all that shit. Yeah, it's fucking LA's cool, but it's a whole different world, man. It's fucking crazy out there.
Yeah.
I feel.
I've never been. I can't
Oh.
tell you, but I can't imagine.
Yeah. It makes you feel like a fucking loser, you know, like all these people are way cooler than you.
Aww.
No.
Aww. Poor Steve. Oh, no.
So, you just go out there and it's just like, holy shit, man. Like nobody wears shorts. It's fucking hotter than shit. Nobody wears shorts.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just because they're used to it.
They're used to it, yeah. And you go out to a bar and everyone, like, no matter what the bar is, like, it could be a fucking dive. And there's people who are, like, dressed to the nines, you know?
Wow.
It's an interesting city. It's cool.
Hmm.
I don't know if I could ever live there. I mean, I probably could, but it's fucking... Yeah.
Well, not in LA, because that shit's, like, fucking expensive.
We did see Michael Showalter in a Starbucks. And that was pretty interesting, if you know who Michael Showalter is.
Not at all.
Oh,
At least not by name, anyway.
He's on. He's the main character on Hot American Summer, the TV show. I think he was in the movie too. I don't know if you've seen it. He's a comedian. I think he's done some shit on Comedy Bang Bang and stuff too.
Okay.
Maybe if I saw a face, I'd probably
Yeah,
know.
you'd probably recognize him if you saw his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that too. So
Nice.
fun time. It was a fun time.
Cool.
Nice.
That's awesome. I have been... Oh, God, what have I been playing? Oh, yes, I've actually been playing a lot of Brutal Doom, which is a mod for Doom 2, Ultimate Doom, and Doom 1. Basically, if you own any of those, you can download this free mod that's called Brutal Doom, and it is so fucking good. It is just an overhaul of a mod that completely changes how the game plays. Just not so much just from a like basic standpoint of what Doom is and how it plays. It's just more of it just modifies it so that it's just a way cooler and fun experience. So like it's just like way more violent and way over the top gore and things like that. And the people who made this mod, they took all the demons and they completely changed them and how they interact and how they actually have hitboxes now. So like if you shoot at them with like a shotgun and if you hit them in a certain area, they'll do a certain animation where like the imp, if you shoot them in the leg or whatever, and if you shoot him like in the leg or something, he'll kind of like grab his leg and like he'll be like hovering around or whatever, and you can go up to him and like kick him in the face or something, or if you shoot him in the head, his head will like completely blow off. Like they completely changed on how the styles of different effects and different like gore in that system, how it works. And like if you grab like the Berserker pack, it was grabbing the Berserker pack gets you to basically do a what is it, like an execution, which is now what Doom 4 does, where like when you do a certain amount of damage, you can just go up to an enemy and then just push a button and then you
execute.
you do an execute. This is the thing that I personally think that ID looked at and said, "Shit, we should add that to our Doom games. Why do we not have that? If like some people who can make a fucking mod out of it can do it, like why can't we?" I mean, that's what I think, because Brutal Doom came out like, I don't know, like many years before Doom 4 was even announced, was even a thing. So, yeah, and I downloaded the recent version, and there's so many different weapons, and you can select whether if you want to stay with the classic weapons or go with their modernized weapons, where it has like a reloading system, and the weapons are totally reskinned and have different sound effects. Yeah, it's just
Brutal Doom is 6 years old.
Yeah.
Came out 2010. By the
Okay.
way.
Yeah. So it is a complete overhaul, and they're still working on modifying it and making it just better. I've been playing. So there's the mod where it just basically can go on. It just modifies like classic Doom and Doom 2. But then there's also a whole story mode, a whole campaign mode that they made on top of that you can play. That's like a 3-chapter like campaign. And I've been playing that because that's like something totally new that I've never played before. And the levels that they've made is fucking huge, and it's so good. So I've just been playing a lot of that, and then I got to, just before we started doing our podcast, I actually got to play the Rocket League Hoops mode,
Nice.
which came out I think last week.
Yeah, it came out late last week, just before PAX.
Yeah, so I've been playing that, and man, that fucking mode is fun. It's so good. Like, you definitely need to know your aerials if you're gonna play that mode.
Explain to me, because in the trailer it looks like the net is more of like a cone shape.
Yes.
So
correct.
can you hit it from the ground up that like a ramp? Or...
Yeah, it basically acts like a curved ramp. So yeah, if you hit
Gotcha.
towards it, the ball will bounce off of it, you know, depending on the physics of how you hit the ball, or if it just rolls towards it or whatever. But the ball definitely has a higher bounce on it. So it is very bouncy, and it acts totally different than from the soccer ball, as it should.
Right.
And I think they actually made the map smaller, because it feels a lot smaller than the soccer field. I mean, I guess, again, as it should. And plus, where all the turbo boosts are, they're totally different. Some of the spots are a little bit different. But yeah, it's like a totally different, on how you approach on how to hit the ball is completely different, much like the hockey mode in that game. But yeah, the Hoops definitely requires more aerials, but it is a lot of fun. And I noticed that they also added a nice little feature where whenever you score a goal, no matter what mode you're in, because we all know how once you score a goal, the camera stays focused on the spot of where the ball is. But now, after the ball explodes, the camera will go to whoever scored the goal, and it'll do like a nice little like close-up shot of your car, so you can have a couple seconds to like spin around or do stupid shit or whatever. So it's a nice little touch that they added to it, and I think that's pretty fucking awesome. So yeah, Hoops is pretty fun. It's 2v2. I thought it was going to be 3v3, but I could see how that'd be really chaotic considering how small of a map it is. Mm-hmm. But 2v2 is definitely good. It's a good size because
fucking NBA Jam style.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it really is. I feel like there's a little bit of that would have been a little bit of influence from that. It was because it is 2v2. Because yeah, if it really was 3v3, you'd be fucking everybody would be all over the goddamn place. So that's mostly all I've been playing, and haven't really watched much of anything or done much of anything other than relocating, and that's about it.
Nice.
So
before I get into it, I went to PAX, so I've got a bit to talk about. There's not really a lot of news.
Mm-hmm. What's okay? We'll just fill it with PAX.
let me just hit the news real quick. Microsoft has stopped manufacturing the Xbox 360. after a decade.
Yep.
So, hooray, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of it's like a hooray, but not a hooray. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it happens.
it had
all
to
the
happen.
time.
It had to happen
Yeah.
eventually. Yeah.
It's not a PlayStation 2, so they had to stop production early. So,
Yeah.
Rock Band 4 had a bunch of news coming out of PAX. Online multiplayer is going to be happening end of the year this year in what they call their first big expansion. There's a whole bunch of different stuff. Stuff that should have been in there from the beginning. Practice
Yeah.
mode, things like that. But, hey, it's coming. They're still working on it.
Okay.
There's a Dark Souls board game that is on Kickstarter right now. It got funded
Nice.
in 3 minutes.
Which,
Well-
as it fucking should.
Yeah, seriously.
Their goal was only $70,000. They're up to
Oh, wow.
$2.1 million right now.
Holy shit.
Holy fuck.
Yep.
Oh, well, I mean,
awesome.
well, because of the backing prices that they're asking for, like the minimum I think is like 75, I think.
75 British pounds, about $106 US.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty pricey, but for a Dark Souls game and
Still.
what's included,
No,
it's,
that was the original one.
like
They're
85
out
bucks.
of that level.
yeah. The next one is like 85 pounds, I believe.
80 pounds, 113 US dollars.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, they're expecting April 2017. That was about it for the news.
Nice.
Okay. I guess
Yeah.
back to what we were doing.
Hey.
Yeah,
All right.
That's
I mean,
cool.
So I went to PAX. I got a chance to play a couple of different things. Did not get a chance to play Overwatch because the line was way too fucking long.
I believe that.
Fuck that. They did do a weird promotion called Uberwatch,
Yeah.
where they took what was it? I can't remember the names of the vehicles, but they basically had a monster truck painted up like Soldier 76. They had Lamborghinis painted up like Tracer, like weird trike bikes painted up like Diva, and they were all Uber vehicles.
Yeah.
There was one case of one of the trucks smashing into a civilian vehicle in front of Randy Pitchford, who is CEO of Gearbox Software, took a bunch of photos. No one was seriously injured. But
Okay.
yes, it did happen.
Wow.
Wow.
Let's see here. So I got a chance to personally play the following games. Metroid Prime Federation Force, which is a much better game than any of the trailers have led on.
Okay.
It doesn't. You're completely right. It doesn't feel like a Metroid game when you're playing it. It feels more like Star Wars Republic Commando co-op.
Right.
It's really fucking awesome from that standpoint. So it's about a 10-minute demo they had, and it's 4 of you dropping in, exploring this station where there was some emergency call. And so you explore it, and you're trying to find out, okay, where to go. Everyone's got a different loadout and a different ability. So, like, my character had harder charge shots. Like, I would charge 20% faster, and I would hit harder if I did a full charge shot.
Okay.
And they do a really great thing with the reticle, too. It's circular, it spins, and there are 3 pips on the outside that lock on when you charge levels 1, 2, and 3. Like, a really good visual feedback on that. And you're constantly getting points for working together with each other and hitting certain weak spots on enemies.
Okay.
I ended up also loading up on a whole bunch of repair kits, med kits. So I was the de facto medic in this case. No one else on the team was working as a team, but I would
as most PAX events are
yeah,
usually.
exactly.
I remember
But
when we went to go play Borderlands 2, and I think it was like you and me, Darren. We got paired
Yeah.
up or something. We got with like a third person. He just ran off.
Just tore ass away, yeah.
Yeah.
But in this, I could at least drop the med kits in front of them, and they would, oh, look, a med kit. And then I would get bonus points for them picking it up.
Okay.
But you end up, in this particular one, we made it down to the bottom, and there was some engine room where we had to attack this core, which was a lot like attacking the Parasite Queen, the first boss in Metroid Prime,
Oh yeah.
where there are key points where you have to hit, and then it's invulnerable if you hit it at other points. but at certain times in the fight, they would be venting gas, so you'd have to get to high ground.
Mhm.
And when someone else goes down, you just go over to them and you can pick them back up. You can revive them at 50% health.
Hmm.
So it's
Okay.
very, very cooperative, and the control scheme's really good. You get ambushed by space pirates halfway through it.
Of course.
But
Also, Space Pirates.
it does. It feels like a Star Wars game and not a Metroid game.
Okay.
I'm just saying you should probably give it a shot before you rule it out.
I would
I think you
say
would like
I'd be
it.
willing to give it a demo shot than anything.
I think you would actually end up liking it.
Right. Well, the thing is that okay, so you obviously played with other people who were there who were playing it. What if you don't have other people?
See, I don't know because they were only demoing local multiplayer.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. Like, cause sure, you could say like, "Oh yeah, this is cool. You should try it." And then what if I get it and then I'm playing by myself and the AI is dumb as hell?
Right.
I mean, I would say Republic Commando, yeah, the AI wasn't perfect, but it was still pretty damn good for what it was, even with just single player.
Right. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that'll be the case.
Yeah.
You should hope they'd have online multiplayer, online co-op,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
at the very least. But this is Nintendo we're talking about.
with no voice chat or anything, so you have to entirely depend on what other people are doing and just go off of that.
Actually, they do have a lot of pre-built-in dialogue, like different prompts to say different things.
Yeah.
And they will pretty much cover every situation that you need. Like, they are really good about that if they'd have to be if you don't have voice chat.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the only other, quote-unquote big AAA title that I would have played is Let It Die, which is Suda51's new joint. So on the show floor, all they had was a big black wall with the logo Let It Die and the Grim Reaper on a skateboard in like a white silhouette on this. So I lined up, and this was the only thing I waited for hours for. I waited for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to play.
Holy shit.
But it answers the one question no one asked. What if Suda51 made a Dark Souls game that had light crafting elements?
Now I have to ask, based off of the logo alone, do you play as Death on a skateboard?
No, he pops up and just tells you, yo, you're going to go kill a guy. He's right there. Kill your first guy. Woo! And then goes away.
Awesome.
You start off naked, like in just your underwear and your fists.
Yeah.
And the first person you go to kill is some weird guy. And he turns around, he's got a pipe. You wrestle the pipe from him and then bash his head in. And you collect pocket change that he drops. You have a frog, and this was running on PlayStation 4, and it sounds like, given the control scheme, it's a PS4 exclusive.
Sweet.
But I'm not sure. So in my inventory, I started off with 3 frogs, and that was it. So like I smash this guy's head in, take his lead pipe, and there's frogs hopping around, and there's a prompt of like a stomping motion on the frog. So I run up to it, and I stomp the frog into the goddamn ground, and fungus sprouts up where it sits. And I pick the fungus. It's like, oh, this will increase your attack damage. Fucking what? Sure, whatever. I'm just gonna roll with it. And I slowly move through it. So I made it through the demo without dying, and my health maybe only got down to 25%. You eat the frogs to heal.
Yeah.
Clearly. But I found
I was going to ask, is the frogs like a way of regenerating health?
frogs and rats.
Okay.
I never stomped a rat to death. Turns out you can crouch and then catch them alive and put them in your pocket because you have to eat them alive.
Right.
To
Yeah, otherwise they're no good.
Yeah, clearly. But all of that stuff is handled with the trackpad on the PS4. So you swipe left or right to select whichever one you want active. And the fucked up part is you click on the right part to eat whatever it is. You click on the left side to throw whatever it is. I picked up a couple of plants that were grenade plants.
Okay.
I did not try to eat the grenade plant, though I feel like I should have.
Yeah, just to see what would have happened.
Yeah.
Right. But you end up looting gear and things and equipping them. One of the weapons is a circular saw that you just swing and just hold down the trigger and just cut bitches up. I found a blueprint for a flamethrower, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how the blueprint works because I never found how to plug things together. But you end up with halberds and katanas and things. And it looks like it might have some sort of player invasion mechanic. Because waiting in line, I saw one screen and I saw the character's name. In my demo, I was walking around, I would go down a side hall, and I find a character in that game with the other station's name over its head, behind bars.
Yeah.
I let it out. It almost killed me, but I murdered them and got the strongest weapon I'd ever found.
Right.
So, it's weird. Like, you've got weapons that you equip to either hand. You can equip 3 weapons to quick switch with, and the 2 hands are independent. So I had a nail gun in one hand, and then a 2-handed katana in the other that I could switch to real quick. So I would be running with a buzzsaw, a nail gun, or a 2-handed katana.
Sweet.
It's a real weird game, and it was all like a dilapidated, destroyed carnival that I was playing through.
nice.
Weird and Suda 51 kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why when you said to me, you were like, imagine Suda 51 making a Dark Souls game. I was like, it's going to be fucking weird. It's going to be fucking weird. And I'm so excited for that because of it being so fucking weird.
Well, I finished it. I finished the demo. I killed the boss at the end, and then Death just pops up, giving the double devil horns, going woo, and then it ends. It's like, okay, yeah, this is a Suda 51 game.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
Oh man, that one's really great.
So how did using the trackpad feel like for the game? With the game, was it good?
Because it's only relegated to side items and like health items and buffs and grenades, it felt really natural.
Nice.
Like, you could definitely panic and accidentally eat a grenade, literally, and I
Yeah.
think that's part of the charm.
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a Suda 51 game.
That's interesting because there hasn't really been too many games that have utilized the trackpad too much.
Yeah.
As far as like using like The Witcher uses it for its map and stuff like that, but I haven't seen anybody use it like as far as going like as a mode of playing in game, like actual action and stuff.
Until Dawn has a couple cool moments. Where,
Until
like,
Dawn does, yes.
Well, I mean, there's also Bloodborne. Also, if you push on the left or right side, one will access like a quick inventory swap or whatever, and then the right one is all the gestures and everything. But yeah, that's probably all I've seen from that anyway.
Yeah, they haven't been really utilizing it too much, so I'm interested to see.
And then there was also the Uncharted games where if you push on the trackpad, and Drake will pull up his journal, and then you can actually like flip through it, like you actually like touch on the touchpad as if you're actually flipping through it. I mean, it's a little thing.
That's a remaster, and that's just replacing button pushes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, any of these is really just replacing button pushes, but I think the mechanic where the right side makes you eat it, the left side makes you throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
really
cool.
fuck with you.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Most everything else. Okay, I did get a chance to play the PSVR with Work Simulator.
Oh, nice.
That was 5 minutes of glorious stupid.
Yeah.
So that game's silly. And it's clearly just, hey, fuck with things. So my 5 minutes was in an office setting. So it's like, oh, humans normally start their day with a stimulant, and more stimulants, and coffee and donuts pop up. And the objective is drink coffee, eat donuts. But I'm just fucking around with everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so fine, pour coffee, eat a donut. You just pick up the donut and you put it towards your face, and half of it disappears. And put it towards your face again, it all disappears. So I just started taking half bites and throwing them into the other cubicles. And it all worked really well. Like there's an aha moment when your hands line up with where your hand should be.
Mm-hmm.
That just clicks really well. And where the demo broke is when I tried to turn away from it and look like behind me because the camera could no longer see the wands and my hands would disappear and start freaking out.
Ah,
So that's a big problem for Sony's VR. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you should buy it.
right.
Mhm.
No, don't.
Do
But
not buy it.
yeah, it's fun. It's stupid. There's one point where it's like, oh, well, start up your computer. So I turn on the monitor. It says, oh, I'm not plugged in. So you find a plug on the desk. You plug it in. You turn the monitor on. It's like, oh, the tower is not on. And you look down under the desk, and I knelt down
Mm-hmm.
to look at the tower, and it's like, oh shit! Like this feels like it's physically there.
Yeah.
It's super weird. So once you get the computer started up, it's like, oh, log in. There's a mouse on the desk. So I grab the mouse with the wand and start moving it around, and it just felt like I was really moving a mouse. It's so fucking weird.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that is.
awesome.
Yeah,
Trick your
it's
mind into believing.
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. It's fun. It's just not like $600 to $800 worth of fun.
Yeah. It's funny because that same game I've been watching Markiplier playing that with the Vive, and it's funny because it's interesting seeing how exactly what you're saying, Darren, where it's like you get so immersed in it and it just feels so natural because there's a point in his video where he goes to pick up a fax where it says like, you know, what your next task is, but it's like do your job or whatever. And the first time he pulls it up and it says do your job, he goes, oh well, fuck you, and he throws it, but he actually like lets go of the controller of the Vive controller, and it fucking
God.
hits against a wall, and then you just see him like, oh.
Yeah, yeah. You could easily do that.
So it's that sudden realization of, oh god, I got so fucking immersed with how my hands interact with the world and how it's like one-to-one responsiveness of like my hands and interactions and the button pushing and everything, and it's just like, it's like, oh shit.
yeah, it's real neat.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I got to do it there. I'll wait for the price to come down.
Yeah, that's how I always felt with VR, was kind of like,
Yeah.
it's so cool, and even with, I know I've been with you, Darren, when we've tried out the Oculus and played some of the platforming
Lucky's
games.
Tale.
Lucky's Tale, and even then it was like, oh, this is really cool, but like, it's okay, I guess. I don't know, but now it seems like with, again, this seems like a lot of people are making kind of demos in a sense. It's nothing like a fully fledged game that you could play for hours on end, or like something
Yeah.
that has an actual story or anything. It's just like, oh yeah, here's this quick little thing that you can play for like 20 minutes or so if you really want.
On the flip side, on the train ride home, I watched most of Giant Bomb's Vive launch day coverage.
Yeah.
And there are some really interesting games that I would want to spend more time with.
Yeah.
But it's like one or two.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot, especially to justify that cost.
Yeah, exactly.
But on the other end of the spectrum, there is things like the Gear VR, which I got to play Intern Astronaut on, which is a really small indie game. It feels like a college project. So if you've not used the Gear VR, you put a Samsung phone into the Gear VR headset, and there's a cross on the right side of the goggles with a dimple in the center, and you can really feel the arrows on it. And that's how you control it, is all through that. Intern Astronaut is first person. You're sitting in what looks like a spaceship cockpit, and there's a symbol on one of the monitors up in center in front of you, and there's a control panel in front of you. You have to find the symbol and do one of three actions to get it to go on to the next symbol. You either tap the center to push the button. It might be a dial, so you do a 3/4 turn around the D-pad. Or it's a kill switch, in which case you flip up and then flip down to hit the kill switch. And you're trying to do these as fast as you can. It's kind of like WarioWare. It's like, find the symbol throughout this field of symbols. After so long, the lights go out. and you have to turn to the right and pull this big wooden crank to bring power back.
Okay.
When you do that just by spinning really, really fast.
Yeah.
So I'm playing, I'm doing okay, and then all of a sudden I find a symbol that I can't see, and then I look to my sides, and there's 2 other giant panels with more symbols on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a survival game. Just go as far as you can, and people start panicking. It's great.
Mm.
Enter an Astronaut is great, and it looks like it's only coming to Gear VR right now.
Oh.
Well, it's a small like college thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really neat. Everything from here on out is like indie games.
Yeah.
Push Me, Pull You. Did you ever play Sports Friends last year?
No.
Push Me, Pull You is coming to PS4.
Okay.
It is couch play only. 4 players with 2 controllers.
Mm-hmm.
Picture human cat dog. 2 human cat dogs on a field with some sort of balls in the middle. And there's multiple modes. The mode that I played was 1 ball or 3 balls, and you have to pull them and keep them on your semicircle without going over for a set amount of time to get a point. It's first team to 3 points wins. But it's 4 players with 2 controllers. So each team shares a controller with the lower trigger extending the body and the upper trigger retracting the body and the stick to crawl around. And it makes farting noises whenever you extend. It's really fucked up and a lot of fun. Push Me, Pull You, it's due out in like 2 weeks.
Fart button? Yes, please. I'm totally on board with your game. It's like the quack button in Duck Game. That's all I need. Just give me that one fucking button and I'm good.
Well, you don't want to extend all the way because you lose power. The shorter you are, the more strength you have to pull and maneuver. But the longer you have, the more area you cover, but the weaker you are overall.
Okay.
It gets pmpygame.com. Go check it out. It's super fucking weird. And it's gross and it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
In contention for best game of PAX.
Wow.
Adult Swim Games was showing off Desync. They announced that there's a number of trailers out. It looks like a kind of a cyberpunk. Oh God, I'm trying to think. Bulletstorm.
Oh, okay.
So you've got a couple of weapons, enemies. It's harder than hell. I couldn't make it past like more than 10 enemies. But they come at you, and yeah, you can just shoot them and move on, but you won't actually be advancing and doing better until you start killing them with style. So like one of the styles is you dodge to the left, or you dodge to the side, and then hit them while they're still in the attack animation. If you hit them in the head, like you have to kill with style in order to get more experience, to become better, to get bigger stats. Certain bosses will be colored certain colors to let you know, hey, you need to attack them with these types of patterns in order to get them to remove their invulnerabilities before you can even damage them.
Right.
So like if someone's coming up to you with red, you have to dodge out of the way while they're weak, attack them to break that shielding so that you can then unload on them. Desync looks super cool and it looks super painful.
Nice.
It kind of sounds like a combination of Devil May Cry and Ikaruga, in a sense. Like because Devil May Cry, what you have to do is like you have to attack a certain way, and you have to vary up your attacks in order to like increase your chances of getting more XP. But it's like Ikaruga, where it's like you have to be like that certain mode or whatever in order to actually do damage.
Well, yeah, kind of, yeah. I didn't get to see a boss. I didn't get that far. But
well, I mean, I didn't
The
get
way
very
they
far
were
in Ikaruga either, so that makes 2 of us.
yeah, the way they were explaining it, yeah, that sounds exactly like that.
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't really have much else really notable other than I got to play Steel Battalion finally. The first time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that game is ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
I walked in toward the end of it, and apparently they've had this room at PAX for years now, where they just have 10 networked original Xboxes all running Steel Battalion. This year was the last year that they're doing it.
Oh, thank God you got in.
So
Holy
I got it.
shit.
I got a chance to play it, and man, that game's fucked. That game's fucked up.
How was it with the controls with like all the like the 3 different like
So
dashboard things that you have?
it's actually pretty simple once you figure it all out. A lot of the mech chassis that I have weren't using a lot of the buttons on there.
Okay.
So a lot of those functions are specific to certain chassis.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's a specialized targeting system in certain models that if you try to use that in other systems, it'll just blink and tell you no, I'm not going to work. But what ends up happening, like I only played the multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
And when the game starts, you are just a pilot sitting in your mech with the chassis cracked open as though you just crawled into it. So the first thing you have to do is close your chassis.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to hit the ignition. And then you have to boot up all your 6 separate subsystems. Once those are all started, you have to wait for these other bars to fill to a certain level and time a button press to actually get everything to boot up correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start playing. So you've got your foot pedals. The far right foot pedal is to move forward. The far left is to juke, to like shimmy left or right real quick when you're fighting. And the middle one is for reverse. But you have a shifter on your left, which will determine your overall speed. You have gears 1 through 5, which are all walking.
Mm-hmm.
If you shift into 6th gear, your legs will retract and treads will come out, and you'll start going a lot faster. But that depends on the terrain, too. So if you start trying to do treads uphill, you're actually going to slow down, and you run the risk of sliding back downhill. Also, if you get going too fast and try to turn too fast, and one of the joystick on the right is for turning and aiming. If you try, no, I'm sorry, the joystick on the left is for turning and aiming. If you go too fast and try to turn too fast, you will fall over. At which point you double pump the gas pedal to stand back up, and then you have to wash your windshield because your windshield's all covered in shit. So you have to hit the windshield button.
Jesus.
To clean your windshield. It's super fucked up.
Yeah.
It's so good though.
I think that's one of those things where it's like it is such a unique control system with all the different panels and everything. But yeah, that sounds like something I would kind of want to try just to see how it is and just how cool it would feel. Like you feel like you're piloting this damn thing just because of all the different controllers and panels and shit.
So here's the really fucked up but kind of cool thing about it too. In multiplayer, if you die, if you do not eject, you are done. You are out of the match. You are done. You cannot rejoin. If you do eject, you respawn in a brand new mech that you have to boot up from scratch again.
Oh wow.
So you could be sitting there waiting to power up, and someone else could come in and just wipe you out before you're even booted.
Right.
So you have to have this sequence down pat when you're playing multiplayer. In single player, if you don't eject, it will actually kill you, delete your save, and kick you back to start.
Right.
Like, it's pretty hardcore. God, that game is so weird. It's so good. It's so weird.
Right.
And there's so many other controls that I didn't even get into. Like, you can retract your radar because it takes up a lot of screen real estate. So you can actually, there's a button just to make it go away. And there's a rear-facing camera that you can change what the camera actually shows, either rear or your lock-on or sky, or like a sky view. God, that game is fucked up. I love it. I love it.
Sweet.
So yeah, that's basically my PAX experience. I just think that I'm done because so much of the show floor this year was dedicated to esports. There was an entire Tom Clancy esports stage.
Oh, Jesus.
There was one...
Were they doing Siege, or what was it?
I don't know. It just said Tom Clancy, and I kept walking. It didn't explicitly say Siege.
Oh, okay.
I'd assume so. But that's the thing. Like, PAX, to me, isn't esports play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were at least 6 stages set up on the show floor. One was continually doing League. Like, apparently all of the big teams were there. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Split that out. Put that in a different building. Put that as a different weekend.
Yeah, because I remember
care.
I remember when we went to PAX years ago, there was a whole section that was just like off in a corner that was just League of Legends, where it was like people playing all weekend long.
So they didn't have a booth this year. Riot didn't have a booth.
Okay.
They had an entire room called the Rift Walk, which I didn't even want to get involved with. There was huge lines, people always in costume, and through a door what looked like a jungle. So I think they set up what looked like a mini map.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, great. You guys go have fun with that, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's just the esports in general. Twitch was never really a big thing until recently.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was like,
At PAX.
when?
No, at PAX, Twitch was never a big thing until recently, last year and this year.
Yeah.
And Twitch has its own convention.
Okay.
So I get it with big companies wanting to stream out what they're showing. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's an entire Twitch booth that takes up a huge amount of real estate. And with all the esports, it's the people who are going to PAX just to watch esports aren't the people who are going there to see the indie games, to see what PAX is about.
Yeah.
So split that out. Make that a separate convention. Like, I don't know. I think I'm just done.
It might be just because of how large PAX has become. It's just one of those things where it's like everyone knows that if they say, "Oh, we're having a championship at PAX," it's like, okay, I want to fucking go. Like, again, I guess it kind of just depends on the audience of who's going. Like, whether if it's people who are going to go see these tournaments / championships going on, like between various games, or if it is people like us who would want to walk around on the show floor and try games and see what's coming up and things like that.
Right.
It is two totally different crowds, and I can see what you mean. That yeah, it should be separated, but I think it's more of the reason why it happened is because of the name PAX, and it's because everyone knows it is a huge event between PAX Prime, PAX East, and now what the hell is it? The one that's in Texas,
PAX South.
PAX South.
PAX South is weird because of when it's set. It's January, right? So January doesn't really see a lot of news. And it's set so awkwardly in the year that AAA developers don't want to be there. They don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
So PAX South, I'd be happy with deeming PAX South as PAX Indie. I'd be all over that. Let me go to PAX Indie. I either split off Indie or split off streamers and all of that.
Right.
Like, man, I can't tell you the number of times I heard either directly to my face or overheard in conversation, yeah, well, I'm a streamer, so, like, fucking who isn't? Any J-hole with a webcam can be a
We
streamer,
are!
right?
We're doing
No,
that
you
right
are.
now.
This is your channel.
That's true. That's true. Which, funnily enough, I'm actually considering getting back into that.
And there's nothing wrong with it as long as you don't try to treat yourself as someone special because you stream. It's great. That's fine. People are finding a new way to interact with games media and fans and what have you. That's fine. It's just not my cup of tea.
Right. No, I know, and you've tried it, and you've tried along with me, and yeah, I know.
Not my thing.
Yeah, I mean, it entirely depends on the person. It totally depends on the person because there's plenty of streamers that I've gone that I would go on Twitch just randomly and then scroll down to like people who had like 1 or 2 people viewing or whatever, and I would see them just staring at their screen, not saying anything, and just playing the game. And to to me that's not interesting. And if there are people that who are saying like, oh yeah, I'm a streamer or whatever, and that's all they do, it's like, okay. So there's
Yeah.
like the thousands of other people. I've noticed that a lot of people that get popular, either one, they're really popular in the esports crowd, like whether if it's like League of Legends, Dota, whatever, or two, they just have a really great personality or really fucking weird personality, and people just watch it because of that. Like sure, they're there to watch the game, but they're also there to watch the personality as well. And that was kind of
Right,
something
right.
that I learned while doing it when I was really on top of streaming pretty consistently, like 3-4 days a week.
Right. Right. And there's, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. You're just not special for being a streamer.
Yeah, no,
Stop expecting special treatment.
yeah, I totally would have been like, well, I'm a streamer, so
Yeah.
fuck you. Like, I've got 151 followers, so why should
man.
you? Yeah, you should give me a review copy of some game that's coming up. Like, no.
Yeah.
I'm just an average person who just does shit because I have the equipment and ability to do so, and that's why I do it, and that's it.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's plenty of times I've had fucking fun doing it, especially playing Counter-Strike. Holy shit. Yeah.
Well, Left for Drunk was always pretty fun too.
Oh
but
god. Oh my god. That needs to happen again.
yes, it does.
I'm not gonna make the mistake of doing mixed drinks that time because that was
Yeah, no,
awful.
never do that.
No, that was a bad idea. I'm gonna go with beers next time. But yeah.
Anyway, that's about it from my side from the PAX report. And we've already done news, so I guess emails. Emails. utterlygeek@gmail.com. That's UTTERLYG33k at gmail.com. Let me check. Nothing new this week.
Womp womp.
Oh well. Do we have questions from the chat?
We do. We have one. What game title are each of you most looking forward to in the next year? I'm assuming this year. Or possibly like from now until next year, if there's anything that was announced for next year. There's a number of games though.
There are. I would say Zelda. I want to see Zelda. And I also want to see whatever is not announced yet. I want to see what the fuck Nintendo's doing with the NX.
Yeah.
It's not really a specific title I'm excited for. It's more like, the fuck is going on with hardware? You know, we're in a weird spot with the goddamn Neo, the PlayStation Neo coming, and maybe a hardware rev from Microsoft, maybe not. And whatever the hell Nintendo's doing, like...
Or just buy a PC and everything figures itself out.
not if you want to play Zelda.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Shit.
Not if you want to play Zelda. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just curious to see what the hell's going on.
Okay.
So,
Steve?
yeah.
I'm anticipating the Horizon Zero Dawn, I think it's called.
Ooh, yeah.
That game. I'm anticipating that. That looks pretty cool. And The Last Guardian, if that's still a thing.
Yeah.
We'll believe it when it is in my
It's almost like Half-Life 3, but for Sony right now. It's like it's there. Well, at least it's there. At least we've actually seen gameplay footage of it. Unlike
seriously.
Half-Life is just kind of like it's like a thing.
That's kind of true. We've seen game footage. We know they're
Twice.
They're making it twice. So, yeah. But like Daron said, I'll believe it when it's in my fucking cold dead fingers and I'm laying there. So, yeah, those are my most anticipated right now.
To kind of ride a little bit of that Sony train, I would say Uncharted 4. Very excited for that.
Yeah, that's super soon too.
Yep, that is next month. I'm looking very much forward to that. And Detroit, I'm looking forward to.
Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. God, I've
God, I
been
keep forgetting that game exists.
yeah. And what another game that's coming out next month? Overwatch. I am too fucking stupid excited for that game. Like I can't tell you how. Just when I play multiplayer games and even Rocket League, which is like a totally different fucking game in and of itself, I'm playing it and I'm just like, man, I can't wait till Overwatch comes out. Like, it's nothing against Rocket League. Like, Rocket League is fucking awesome and it's still fantastic. And what Psyonix is still doing is so good, but it's like, God, I want to play Overwatch.
Just need something new.
Yeah.
That's why I refuse to wait in line for Overwatch, because I know I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, that would have been like a 3 or 4 hour wait. And plus, I mean, the next week is the open beta. So it's kind of like, why wait for so long when it's just like, okay, you can wait one more week and then you can play it as much as you want for hours on end for like 4 or 5 days.
They had professional cosplayers as Tracer and Soldier 76.
Yeah.
And I think Diva.
Yeah.
At PAX.
Yeah. They were the actual drivers who were driving, or maybe they were just posing for it.
They had a fleet of Uber cars. They weren't the cosplayers weren't driving.
Oh, okay.
Why would you put the cosplayers in the car when they can be standing in the booth promoting the game?
That's true.
Also, Totino's Pizza Rolls had a bucking couch, which was actually, it sounds awesome, but it was super lame. So it was a couch where people would lay down and play Sonic 3, and it was a tournament to see who could get as much rings in a set amount of time.
Okay.
And the audience would vote on what to do with the couch, but they were always way too lax with it. It'd be like, oh yeah, we wanna do the wave, and so it'd tip back and forth, and they're like, oh, we wanna dunk him, so it'd tip forward and back, and then spin him, But then every once in a while they'd do vibrate, where the couch would just fucking vibrate like shit, and that was awesome. But the record was like 256 rings while lying on a bucking couch. Again, that's the kind of stupid I want.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that.
But yeah, I think that's another episode in the bag, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
With the
Good
full
work.
crew back in action.
Yes.
Back in action.
Woohoo.
We'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Hells yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna say goodbye. I mean, I don't know you guys, but
Bye.
bye-bye.